Suspended female student of the University of Niger, Iyienu, Anambra State, has violently dragged and thrown off campus by security officers following her suspension for a leaked nude photo scandal. Identified only as Alaka, she was blackmailed by a male student who allegedly shared her private images with friends. Despite reporting the matter to the university, she was suspended for 1 year while no action was taken against the alleged blackmailer. The incident occurred on July 18th. A video capturing 3 security men manhandling Alaka went viral, sparking outrage across social media. She was seen pleading to leave the campus peacefully, but was reportedly beaten and forced out. Eyewitnesses condemned the assault, describing it as dehumanizing. "This is not misconduct, this is abuse," one post read. Students and rights groups are calling for an independent investigation and demanding that the university reverse its suspension, punish the alleged blackmailer, and take action against the officers involved. The university is yet to release a statement. Now, when this report broke, a lot of people did talk about the fact that this lady complained severally that she is being blackmailed, or someone is blackmailing her. She's been, paying so her videos won't be released. What are your thoughts on this report and the way the university handled the situation?
You see, the issue of nude pictures and videos seems to be becoming a common place now, which is quite unfortunate and shouldn't actually be.
All right.
Now, institutions such as universities have cultures.
Right.
They would want to I mean, we all saw what happened in the USA, the astronauts company, Astroma, the CEO who was made to resign because of a hug with the human resource person. I mean, that was even a private event. They were not at workplace. They went for a private program, and the hug seemed consensual, but the organization still took action against them when the video came viral, because they had a culture. If you saw their statement released, they talked about the culture of their founding fathers. This is a company, an organization, the culture of their founding fathers, and how they expect every leader of the organization to uphold that culture and standard, and also stated that in recent time that culture has not been maintained, referring to the incident that happened. Hence, the guy was relieved. Some time ago, we also saw a female worker, I think she's of Nigerian origin or something, that works in a particular airline, foreign airline, taking pictures she used for TikTok. How do they put some of these pictures? It displays the image of the organization, and she was tweaking, I think that's the word, inside the airplane, even though there were no passengers there, but the organization felt it was bad for their image, especially since the name of the airline was shown. So they also, I think, suspended her or relieved her something. Yeah, they relieve her of that position. So organizations have cultures and standard they want to maintain. There's a way they want to be seen by the public, and there's a way they don't want to be seen. So if you're going into such an organization like a school, for example, find out what the culture of that school is. Find out, I hear some people go to some faith-based schools. Of course, personally, I have a quarrel with some of the regulations some faith-based schools have, especially when you consider that these persons are adults. You see schools that say, universities that say you can't use phone. I think it's too much on the high side for students. But the thing is this, I'm saying that to say this, that if you understood that this is the culture of this school, this is their regulation, and you saw it, terms and conditions, and you agreed to it, then if you have agreed to it, you go there, then you are bound to keep that which you have kept. So in this same way, I would completely blame this organization, the University of the Niger, right? If they want to uphold a certain standard. However, my quarrel with them now is, if the male blackmailer is a student of that school, if he's not a student of that school, then they may really have nothing much to do against him. I mean, he's not within their authority. But if he's a student of that school, because if you have a culture that is against people exposing themselves in certain ways, like exposing nude picture, I'm sure that culture should also extend to the person who exposes another person's nude picture. That should mean that if I'm a student or a staff of that school, if I expose somebody's picture, you know, whether that person is even part of our system or not, that it is coming from me, I should get some punishment, you know. Now, in this case, it is a student of that school, and it is a blackmail.
Right.
If she's correct, it's a blackmail. If it's a blackmail and the male student is a part of that school, much as the lady would be cautioned or maybe punished, the male person who is the blackmailer should get more of the punishment. Now, why I think the lady should also be sanctioned, you know, punished, even if the guy is punished, is this, or maybe cautioned, is this. I really don't understand why people are so hell-bent on having themselves videoed or pictured when doing something that is a private act. I mean, not come out openly to, you know, start schooling people on how not to have sex or whatever, if you choose to go that path. But understand that it's a private part. Understand that in our today's world, if you have a picture of you, whether you are clothed or not with another person, the chances that a third party will see that picture is very, very high. I mean, if you have a picture of you in your own gadget, there is a chances that a third party will see that picture someday. Either you willingly show the person, or, you know, in spite of all the securities we try to have around our gadgets, things happen, life happen. You could miss your phone, something could just happen, and that person have access to it. So which is why it is important that things you don't want to come to the public, don't have it recorded at all.
But there are times when those videos have been recorded without consent. Now, what I mean without consent, someone, maybe two people have decided, okay, we want to be in a sexual relationship. So a relationship probably turned sexual. I'm not sure the scope of which we want to measure it at this time. But now there's a relationship ongoing. It's now consensual that we want to, you know,
have a sexual relationship. But the video was not.
But right, and we decide on the meeting place. Probably someone comes to the other person's house without the idea, an iota of an idea that the camera has been set somewhere to record that particular.
That becomes a criminal act that can be sued, because before I take a picture.
Now, when you are afraid of the consequences of the university, like you rightly said, to say, okay, they have standing rules, you will still want to bribe your way out of that, so that doesn't even come out. Because given the fact that you'd agree with me that parents spend a lot to send their children to school these days. Many people come from families that, you know, the constant reminder that you're not the only one, we are breaking our back. You're a parent.
But you see, in this case now, that's what you want to protect, which I even think it's a wrong way to go. Anytime a blackmailer comes and say, give me this or I'll do this, it's always in your best interest to call the bluff of them. If you have to report to the authorities, report that somebody is blackmailing me, because
haven't reported.
But the issue now is not that she reported. The issue is that the picture or the video is already in public domain
because she refused to keep paying, or she actually lacked the finance to continue paying.
Absolutely, what you're saying now. Back to what you said now. Why I wanted to conform to the blackmailer pay is that it shouldn't be released, and this blackmailer, for whatever reason, has gone ahead to release. So if the video making wasn't consensual, this is time to speak up. There is nothing again to hide. I mean, you made the video without my consent.
But what would that do currently? Now, the thing is, what would that do? the blackmailer is also a student of the school.
The school should take action against it.
If she had gone to any form of authority, in the video she did say, please, I'm waiting for my dad to pick me up. That means the disappointment of the family with this sort of scandal. They're already aware that this happened. Now, I'm not saying she hasn't openly come out to say, you know, this video was consensual to make, or I had no idea, but you know, you'd agree with me. There have been exactly. There's been circumstances where, because when you're talking about people filming themselves during coitus, I just wanted to point in that sometimes there's circumstances when that has happened,
and that becomes a criminal act. If I take a picture or a video of you without your consent, or even do a recording of you, except maybe for an investigative purpose, you know, we are talking, I'm making a record of you without consent. It's not ethical, so it can be legally fought. Now, in this case, now, if you know, if the student is a student of that school, I think the family, much as they may be embarrassed about what has happened, even within the student community, I understand this should be a private school, but I equally want to believe that they have an SUG. Unfortunately, we live in a system where even unionism have taken, you know, there are many things that should be asked to be corrected, but rather they focus just on one thing or focus on nothing at all. I think this is also something the SUG should step into. Like, if this guy who did this video, whether consensual or not consensual, is a student of the school, he should also be punished, whether it is consensual or not. For, you know, I mean, if it is wrong for the lady to have her video, her nude video pictures released, it's also wrong that another student would have released that video. Yeah, so I think the guy, except he's not a student of that school, if he is a student of that school, then he should be, I think he should take the greater punishment. If in the wisdom of the school, the consequences of releasing a nude video is 1 year suspension, then the guy should get more of it. But then how did they even arrive at a 1 year suspension? I don't know what their rules do. I think at times like this, like I asked the SUG also, people should also ask, what does the school rules say? Is there a written rule somewhere? Is it just an arbitrary, you know, somebody just decide that, oh, she deserves 1 year? You know, things, questions should be asked.
For punishment. Now, I'm going to ask you about your thoughts as regards the brutality part. Was there any need for her to be beaten up? Was there any need in those videos, you know, that circulated online, for her to have been pummeled for this crime? Haven't actively now serving a 1 year suspension, which is a punishment for the action. What was the need for her to be beaten up?
If you have been suspended from a university or institution of learning, that includes that you leave the official hostel and given to you as a student. However, I think that, you know, we have also developed a culture of brutality in this country. I think we should be, you know, driving to a society where rules can be enforced with minimal brutality. So if she has been suspended, like I said, that may include leaving the hostel. Is there a better way they would have enforced that rules without becoming brutal? I don't even want to buy into the idea that she's waiting for that. That may not count as an excuse. But I also know that when you give somebody, especially with accommodation, you give somebody suspension or even eviction, it shouldn't be implemented immediately. I think there should be a time frame, like, okay, maybe we give you the next 48 hours. I don't even think it should be 24 hours when you consider how university education is, that somebody may have come out of from another state to that state, maybe I say maybe within 1 week, within, you know. But the question is, has she exhausted the required time given to leave the school? If she has not, then there was no need trying to forcefully eject her. Then if she has also exhausted that time, is there no other, you know, is there no peaceful means? I mean, what we saw on that video, like I said, suspending her for me is not the issue. Telling her to leave the hostel is not the issue. But can't we develop a more peaceful, and this is for all Nigerian society, we see it with security men everywhere, can't we have a more peaceful way of enforcing laws without necessarily becoming brutal?
All right.
I mean, these are our society. For me, in many ways, still evolving, and there are still many things that are wrong with our society. Then what we saw in that school is just, that school, of course, is a microcosm of the macrocosm. It's a smaller part of the larger society. So what the first you saw in display in that video is actually what happens in the larger society.
Right.
So that brought me like to the question I said, can't we find a better way of enforcing some of our laws without necessarily becoming brutal? Because if in the course of that brutality the lady slumps and dies, every other question becomes secondary.
All right.